Yo, what's up, K Squad? Today, we're coming at you with a whole new series, something else, something that we've never seen before, something that's never been done before, even. I'm going to take you guys through how to play Lightforged Vanguards as Brewmaster specifically, and as the tank, which you should be the tank if you're the only Brewmaster in your group, that is pulling the mobs or the bosses out of the group and positioning them properly. You can effectively just copy and paste everything I do. You will parse out of your mind. Your guild will be like, wow, this guy really knows what's going on. His positioning is like extremely optimal. Let's go through my parses real quick just to show you guys, like, he knows what he's talking about. This is actually like by far my lowest parsing fight, only a 92, but again, I am the tank who is pulling the bosses out of the group, so therefore I'm really losing a lot of like multi-target damage. Okay, so let's go through some of like the tips. Boom. Wow. Tips 1. You want to taunt during the judgment. During the cast. This is the tank swap. The Red Paladin and the Prot Paladin will do a judgment cast, and that's what you want to taunt on, but you want to taunt it in the middle of their cast because they will hit you with the judgment, and then immediately after, they're queued up to hit you with another spell. If you don't taunt during that, you will get hit by the second spell, and you'll have a huge debuff from the judgment, and you will just get one shot, like pretty much no matter what. It's really hard. Like even if it's like multiple externals, you'll probably just die. So you taunt during that. The judgment itself, the damage is not that bad. It's really the second hit that does a decent amount of damage, but both do like a decent amount of damage. You just want to have defensive up for it. They have them pretty quick in succession, so like, whatever. If you're learning how to do this fight, you already know that, but that is like the key to the flat fight in terms of tank. Like that's like the most important thing. And it's, you'll mess it up. I mess it up. It happens. It is what it is. 2. Drop your port as a brewmaster or transcendence. This is something that like I could have utilized a lot better than I did. Sometimes in like some of the prog pulls, I was like really using my port, some I wasn't. If you really want to optimize your damage, use your port. I'd really recommend you take the talent where you can put your transcendence on a friendly target, put it on your co-tank who is not pulling the bosses out of the group, and just port back to him pretty much every single time. Like the uptime on it is pretty high, so like you can port every single time you pull the bosses out, and then you can like quickly get back into hitting your 2 target cleave. 3, don't worry too much about the hammers. I'll point them out, but this is like the thing you want to dodge. But at the same time, like do make an effort to dodge them. You can get into some situations where like you get hit by a bunch of hammers because like you don't really care about them. Plus like some other mechanic happens and another mechanic happens, and like your team is struggling to like catch up with the healing and stuff like that, and so you could potentially die. It's pretty rare, but I would just say make an effort to not get hit by them because it is just extra damage. But at the same time, don't like worry too much about it. 4. In early prog, there's times where you want to put your damage on a certain boss. For example, for the majority of the early fight, you want to be putting your damage into the Red Paladin, but there's also times where the Holy Paladin is gonna like have a shield that you guys need to like use damage to break. To be honest, like you're a tank, your damage doesn't really matter anywhere near as much as the DPS players. You're not going to be really the difference between breaking the shield and not breaking the shield. So to just get it ingrained into your mind of like how to taunt and how to play the fight, I'd personally recommend just focus on like set your target to who you're going to be taunting next, just so you can like really like hammer it into your head like this is the person I'm going to be taunting next. And then once you get comfortable with that, you should be putting your damage into who you're supposed to be putting your damage into. With that being said too, I'd also recommend focusing one of the bosses. I personally recommend focusing like the big lady, Belinda or Bellamy, something like that, the prop paladin. I don't really know why I selected her. This just helped me keep like the idea of like, okay, I know that I always have her focused, and if I have her targeted, I know that like I'm not like I'm taunting her next. If I don't have her targeted, then I know I'm taunting the other guy next, but I can see her cast, and it just helped me. I don't know why, but that's another recommendation that I have. So let's just freaking get into it. Let's see what's going on here. Being the fight, first like 20 seconds or so is super easy. You simply just like do your damage into these 3 bosses. How do you do your damage in this? I'd recommend throw a keg pretty early into the fight. The reason for this is that they do, as you can see here, they become immune and your taunt's not going to work. So as you can see, like I don't have any aggro on them, and it said that they got immune and things like that. That's my bad. I was a little delayed on this pull, on the start of this pull. So then a lot of the prog pulls that I did is like I would actually kind of pull like maybe like a quarter of a second or so before the timer actually happened, throw a keg, and I would taunt. You hit your breath of fire, you drop your aux, immediately you hit a blackout kick because I play like the multi punch thing, the flurry strikes, whatever. You want to hit maximize your blackout or whatever your kick thing is. Exploding keg, chi burst, regular keg, breath of fire, blackout kick. You know, hit him with the works. That is what it is. Around 20 seconds, you want to pull Belinda Bellamy, the big lady prop pally, out of the group. I personally pull her at around 23 or 24 seconds. That's because I can get one extra keg in and a breath of fire in. So as you see here, it's like 22 seconds, and I'm on my way out because I just threw another keg. If you leave at 20 seconds, you miss a keg. Not a huge deal, but if you want to optimize your damage and parse like a freaking madman, that's what you want to do. How do you pull the boss out? You start walking away, and then you hit her with your taunt. Your taunt is going to make it so they run faster to you. That's how the Brewmaster talent is, and that's why you should be the one who is pulling the bosses out. So if you see here, like I'll start to walk away because I know it's like 22, 23 seconds in. I start walking out, and then right here, after I hit my roll, I taunt her, and then she speed runs to me. That's how you pretty much want to do every single one of these like boss pullout things, with a couple of exceptions because sometimes the bosses will do a cast, so you want to kind of like slowly inch them out, then they'll stop and do their cast, and towards the end of their cast, you want to hit them with the taunt while you create your distance from them, and then they'll rock right back to you. So a mistake that I make here is I don't port back to my tank. I don't know if I do have my transcendence on him. I can see there. I should have transcendence back to him. This is where I'd say, like, so as you can see, I'm actually focused on the Holy Pally because I know that the next thing that's going to happen is we're going to have to break her shield. As you can see, she's casting Sacred Shield. She's going to charge to somebody and she'll have her shield. I'd recommend just like early in the prog. I know that I'm going to be taunting the Red Pally next, so I would say focus the Red Pally. I think it's just easier to do it that way and learn it. At this point, we've done it probably like 60, 70 times, so, I just stick on her. She's going to charge, you roll into her, and you want to put your damage into her, break the shield. The first one is really easy, not a big deal. Next, you're going to see that these are these little pizza pies are being thrown at you. These are the shields, they will silence you. These ones you really want to make an effort to dodge. For one, they're really easy to track, and they're really easy to dodge. Two, they silence you, so that's going to really scrape your DPS, and you'll feel bad about yourself after you kill the boss and you have a bad parse. And the silence will make it so like you're just worse. Like you have worse defenses, worse healing, whatever. So you should really make an effort to dodge these every single one. Do not get hit by those pretty much ever. They do decent damage too, but they're not going to kill you. So like at the same time, maybe don't worry too much about it. I'm now focused on the red pally because the shield is broken. We also want to be doing damage to the red pally. He's the prior target early on, and I'm going to be taunting him next. At the end of these pizza pie throw things, the Belinda Bellamy is going to be starting the taunt rotation. So you'll see 2, 1 is counting down. She's starting to cast her judgment. This is what I mean. You want to taunt in the middle of her cast of the judgment. She's on me, so I'm not going to taunt here. And secondly, you're going to see that it actually doesn't do too much damage. But there's one other thing I want to point out. Around here, so this is like 5 or 6 seconds or so before she starts walking back, I'm going to slam my Celestial Infusion as I do just right there, because that gives me a juiced K from the Apex talent. But the reason for doing this is because if I do it right here, as I did, it's still going to be up for the time that the judgment comes from Bellamy. But also because I can slam my Black Ox Brew, and if I do that, I can start to like get the CDR back for the next time that like any more damage is happening. This is like a damage optimization more so than it is like a defensive calculation in my head. Slam your Celestial Infusion and then immediately slam your Black Ox Brew after because you're about to be throwing a whole bunch of kegs. Um, so it's just a way to kind of get your Black Ox Brew. Frankly, I should have done it earlier in the fight, but this was just a way to get your Black Ox Brew on cooldown, and then you can start recharging it back up. So as you see right here, I hit my Black Ox Brew here, even though like I'm not taking any damage or anything like that. I just know that like I mean it's a raid fight, like it's not that big of a deal. You're not gonna be taking that much damage anyway. Better get it on cooldown, get some extra damage out. She's come back, she hits the judgment, the other guy taunts. When she hits me, I still have my Celestial Infusion up. As you can see here, it's like that's Shield of Righteous is the ability she hits after the judgment. It hits me, consumes my Celestial Infusion, and then I hit another Celestial Infusion because I'm now about to get hit by the Red Pally's Judgment. And as you can see, I just taunted him as well. So like in the middle of his cast, I taunt him. He casts the Judgment on the other tank, and then I get hit by it. The immediate thing I do after this is I start to move the boss away towards like the left side of the group here because I'm going to be having to now take the rep alley and pull him over here after the next set of abilities that happens. Also, I have my exploding keg here. I had my keg, I think, up before that moment of time, but you always want to make an effort to be using your exploding keg and your chi burst when there are all three of them stacked. So I use it. I like make an effort to throw. It comes up at that exact moment, but just like make an effort where if you can, if it's like only a few seconds on cooldown or off cooldown, to wait for like the group to be together, and that'll come up a little bit later. This next ability is the prop pally is gonna like throw all of their pizza pies and shields at everybody. But this is important for you to take this exact spot that I'm doing here. I'm separating from the group for this one back because I'm going to be pulling the red pally back as well. So I'm trying to get kind of pre-position myself here. As soon as the Avenger's shield goes off, I'm going to start to move out. So I get hit by the Avenger's shield, and then I start moving out. Okay, it wasn't as quick as I thought because I've maximized this as well. I've optimized this as well. This is the cast that he's going to do. It's called like Sacred Toll or whatever. When he's doing this cast, he's not going to move. So if you start to run away, he's not going to move. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to use my taunt on him, like right at the end of his cast, as you can see here, and roll away at the same time. Optimizing my damage, but more importantly the group's damage, because the group is kind of focusing on the red pally. So if I start to take him out before this, people are going to be kind of stuck. Like some of these melee DPS that are like over here and stuff like that, they're not going to be able to hit the red pally if I start moving him out like, you know, right now. Oh, this fly. 1 second, there's a fly. Gotta take care of real quick. Bang time. Bang time. So it gives them a little bit more chance to have some uptime damage, plus me, my keg. So like the first thing I do there is I throw my keg, he starts casting, hit a breath of fire, and then I start rolling away, and I hit my taunt right at the end of his cast. The reason for taunting at the end of his cast is because I don't want any of my speed taunt, the taunt that speeds up the bosses, to be consumed while he's doing his cast. In this way, I get him sped up the entire way. You can also walk into the AoE, as you can see here, it doesn't really matter, it silences you, but it doesn't really do much damage or anything like that. And I get him like pretty much in literally the most perfect spot that's possible. Then I run back and I'm gonna hit my transcendence. Boom. Like I said, use your transcendence. Like how much ground I covered there. I mean, unbelievable. Unbelievable optimization of movement. I put him in the most perfect place that's literally possible. I throw a couple of things into him because now my cooldowns are coming back up as I'm like transferring back to everybody. Hit my transcendence and boom, I am now back. This is the key. This is something that's going to be a little bit different. And now the rotation of going prop pally, rep pally, prop pally, rep pally, taunt, 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 taunt is going to adjust. After you come back from the rep pally, the next thing you want to do is taunt the holy pally. And this is because you're going to also have the responsibility of moving the holy pally. And this is the best time to taunt her. So around here, I am now targeting the Holy Pally, and I'm kind of like spamming my taunt, because like since I just taunted the Red Pally, it's like on cooldown for a little bit. I taunt her and I actually stay here and hit her a couple of times just to make sure that I'm the one who has aggro on her. I then come back here, switch to the Prop Pally, get in my soak group, and I just wait for the next taunt. Now she's gonna do her Sacred Shield and roll away again, or run away again, so I roll with her. But if you see there, I also make an effort to dodge the hammers. What did we say? Dodge. Don't worry about the hammers, but dodge them. So I'm not worrying too much about the hammers, um, but I do make sure that like when I do roll forward, there's a clear path for me to roll through. So I roll through, I start hitting the lady, doing what I do. This is super important. This is like probably the biggest thing about the fight. As soon as the Holy Pally shield is broken, you and your co-tank need to run up this way because the Holy Pally is a real pain to move. You need to pre-position her like well before she starts doing her Aura of Peace, whatever the cast is called. So we're going to blow up her shield here. We hit the taunt, and we are immediately running away. I taunt her as well to speed her up because, like I said, she is a pain to move. You really need to like do this proactively. I taunt her, pull her away, and I am running away. And I'm trying to get them pretty close here. To be honest, like I could have tucked them away a bit more, but I do think like if you make a huge effort at this point to tuck them away, it makes other elements of the fight a little bit harder. So I don't think it's such a big deal. But you kind of want to like pull her back over this way. Then I target Bellamy and I wait for the next judgment cast, which are happening here, and I taunt. I use my special fusion. You know, the judgments and stuff, they don't really do that much damage. You don't need to worry about it too much. Celestial Infusion should be fine for most of it. And that's about it. Like now we just go through this taunt situation, and I kind of pull her back a little bit as well. So now she does her. This is why you have to pre-position her because she'll sit down and start doing her cast here, whatever it's called, Searing Radiance. She does this for like a long time, and then once she's done with her Searing Radiance, she doesn't really move very much after that. So she's gonna finish her cast. The other tank is gonna pull away the other boss, and I'm going to stay here on her. Then she has another cast, which is Exorcism. This is important to know because, like I said, you don't want to taunt her right at the end of her or her Searing Radiance cast or whatever, because then your whole speed up is going to be consumed by the Exorcism cast. So it's like right here, I taunt her at the end of it and I move her away. Now she's not going to move very much at all, and that's why it's really important to make sure you use your speed up taunt on her because you might get a couple extra inches. So see, she only moves for like literally a quarter a second of or even less than that. But because I had the speed of taunt, she gets dragged a little bit further. I hit that, I start running back. I could Transcendence here. I don't. Doesn't really matter because I'm throwing cakes from freaking distance, so like it's chill. First thing you want to do here, taunt Bellamy. Taunt her right away. The reason for this is you already just taunted the Holy Pally, so your taunt is on cooldown. You need to be the next one to get hit by Bellamy, which I actually don't necessarily think is true because like you don't have the judgment buff here. Like the judgment buff goes away pretty quickly. So like I don't know. I feel like you could probably actually stick with it. Doesn't matter which one you have on you. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm just saying. That's how we had set it up. So I need to like run back immediately, taunt Bellamy, such that my taunt will then be up to taunt the Red Paladin in a few seconds here. So now we get into our silk groups again, and Bellamy is gonna hit us with her judgment, and I'll taunt, and then I already have her taunted, so wait. Let me actually see when I taunt her here. Okay, I taunt her here, and then I switch over to the Ret Paladin because that's the one who I'm gonna be taunting next for the tank buster stuff. So nothing here is particularly interesting. As you see, I'm making a slight effort to dodge the hammers, but I'm kind of in a lucky spot here. Not too much is going on here, and at this point, the fight resets. So all of that taunting, rhythm, and pattern is just going to happen the same exact way going forward. So like right now I have the prop pally on me, and that's going to be the next thing. I have to pull the prop pally away again, then I'll taunt the rep pally, move her. However, you need to move the prop pally pretty early. As you can see here, Devotion, this is the cast the prop pally does. 6 seconds left on it, and I start pulling her away because she will stop immediately at the end of that timer. So you need to make sure that she's positioned for when that timer happens. So as you can see, it's right here. I get her there, 1.5 seconds left to go. And see, she like immediately stops casting. That little yellow thing, this like gold thing that's dragging too. I don't, gotta be honest, don't know exactly how it works, but sometimes it stops in weird locations. And that's why you kind of want to like really make an effort to get them there ahead of time, because that thing is gonna shoot out all the shields and stuff like that. So you want to pull Bellamy out a little early, around like 6-ish seconds or so. Same thing, you want to taunt her. I don't think I did taunt her there. It doesn't really matter. That was like a kind of a slow one, and then you pull her out, and that's about it. My Kotang should have probably moved everybody a little bit further out because our war captain Sen is going to be stuck in there. People can't really damage her as well, but it is what it is. It's not a huge deal. And then the fight is just rinse and repeat after this. Every single thing that happens is going to be exactly the same. The timing of a couple of things is like a little bit different, and you'll see that here with the rep pally and the next taunt, but like the order of who you're taunting next is going to be exactly the same. So an example of that would be like, actually, never mind. So you break the shield, and theoretically we want to be pulling away again, kind of like inching back a little bit, but we don't really do that too much. So here we're going to get the Avenger shields happening again after I hit the taunt there on the Red Pally to make sure that I have him taunted. So like everything now starts to happen a little bit quicker. Um, and you'll see that here. When I have this Avenger shield on me, I actually start to pull out a little bit earlier than I did in the previous one. And the reason for that is he doesn't do his cast this time. So if you remember, the first time you pull the Red Pally, he does, I forget what his cast is called, but he does something like Sacred Toll. Yeah, the Sacred Toll. Here he doesn't. So like when I was progging this and we got to this point at the first time, I was expecting, okay, I get hit by the Avenger Shields, I wait for him to do his Sacred Toll cast, and then I pull him away. On this time, he doesn't do that. So that's an important thing to remember. After the Avenger Shield cast, you need to move immediately and not wait for the cast. So that's a change, which is like honestly kind of annoying. I don't. I mean, whatever it is, what it is, but it's annoying. So you pull him away, no big deal. Come back here again. What do? We taunt the Holy Pally, even though she's not the one that we're going to be taunting for the tank swap, because we're going to need to be the one who's pulling her out later on. So we taunt her, we hit her a couple of times, to make sure that we have threat generated on her. And now we're hitting this, and as you can see, we're making an effort to dodge the hammers. Because that's what we do. And we get hit by that one. Not a big deal. We also want to pull these guys over here. This time I think we have, I think it's on this one. Like they do the taunt swap happens, maybe it's the next one. The taunt swap happens like very quickly and at a weird time. So I start to pull her back a little bit here. And this one I have to like taunt from range, which my code tank didn't like. I start pulling them away, but I taunt while on the move. Because like taunt has some range, so there's no reason to have to like be sitting in melee. It's important to like when you're the one who's pulling the bosses away, especially the Holy Pally one where you have to pre-move her, make the group move. You know, like you need to put the bosses where they need to be when they need to be there. So like every single time I pulled away, my code tank was like, "Oh no no no, Dakayman, Dakayman," but like I'm taunting from range. Like it's chill. You know, it's not a big deal. But I'm just saying, like you need to make an effort. Like if you're if the group and your code tank and stuff is not moving with you, whatever. You need to be the one to move because that's your job. You don't want to do a bad job. And as you can see, because I moved early, now it's actually kind of chill over here. So this is an example where she's not doing her Sacred Radiance like she did in the previous one. She's just doing her Exorcism cast. So it seems like on the second set, none of them do their casts. Whatever. Let me mute this. Um, then I come back here, same thing. Come back, I prompt the pally, but like we're actually gonna be taunting, I think the other one, right? Yeah, we're gonna be taunting the red pally here instead. But you have to come back, taunt the prop pally, make sure that you have aggro on him so that your co-tank can taunt. Again, I don't actually think that necessarily matters. I'm not positive. It might just be for the sake of keeping everything like routine or whatever. And yeah, I mean like that's kind of the fight. Like after you get it down the first time, the first rotation, everything that comes afterwards is going to be exactly the same, like the rotation wise. But as I said, the red pally, the holy pally, like they're not going to do their cast like they did previously. So that's a little bit annoying. But that's the only change. Everything else happens exactly the same. Here I could have probably pulled her back a little bit further, but it doesn't really matter because I don't think it would have saved us any space anyway because you're gonna have to go into the middle. Regardless, you finish up the red pally. You want to kill him around, I think it's like 6 minutes and 20 seconds or something, because basically when one of the bosses dies, they buff the other bosses, and if you kill him before 6:20, you're gonna get hit by like an Avenger Shield cast or something like that. There's like some cast that happens where basically if he is dead, it's gonna one-shot people. So you'll see that happening in a second here. Yeah, this thing, it says raid damage. Like this cast right here. Wait, is he dead? No, he's not dead yet. Uh, when is it coming? Yeah, so like if he's dead and this cast is happening, it's gonna like kill a lot of people. So you really want to make an effort to kill him right around that like 6:30, like after this cast basically, is when you want to do it. If he's dead for this, it's not the end of the world, but like you can still technically live it. But there was also some people got hit before this as well by some other mechanic. I forget what it's called. There's like something that targets like a few less people. And if you get hit by both of them, you can just be in trouble. So then, like after that happens, you kill the red pally, and at this point, the fight's really easy. It's like you just kind of clean it all up. It's all over. It is what it is. You kill the holy pally next, um, and you shouldn't see any other mechanics in the fight really beyond that. So she dies, and then we switch over to Bellamy. Once we're on Bellamy, Bellamy is the last one alive. Bellamy's gonna do like a ton of damage to you as a tank. But the idea is that like she should be low enough health where it's fine. It doesn't really matter. And that's the fight. I would say This is probably so far in the prog that I've done my favorite fight. It's a lot of movement. It's a lot of like really precise positioning. It's not just like, oh, you have to move, like get away from something like in the Saldahar fight, where like there is an optimization aspect of it, but specifically like it's so precise where you have to go, which I think is fun. The taunt swapping is fun, and I like the fact that there's three things that you have to taunt swap, not just two. Um, because when you have to taunt swap two things, it's like really easy to keep track of. Once you put a third one in the mix, especially when it's not like you taunt 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, but it's like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1. No, it'd be like you taunt, in my case, two, which would be the red pally, taunt one, taunt two, taunt one, taunt two, but then you have to go taunt three, and then go back to one, then back to two. Like it just throws this like little curveball at you, which I think is pretty fun. It's super easy to mess up, super easy to lose track of, and I think that's a good time. Plus, you have like the cleave the entire time. I think it's a super fun boss. It's a boss for like as you're doing it too, like you really start to get into your head what it is that you need to do. And if you just like copy and paste exactly what I did here, boom, you'll also be parsing out of your mind, positioning the boss perfectly, and getting kills. And that's what it's all about.